So EA put out their plan for 2023. Now, initially the plan isn't all that surprising. You have a couple of sports titles in there, but there was something that really did catch my eye, and it was actually near the end of the year, Q4 of 2023. So let's talk about it. Okay, so the first title I really want to talk about is the one that's classed as remake. Now, last night, at the time of recording this, it's currently the 13th of May 2022. And the remake title that we're all assuming it was Dead Space. Now, last night on Twitter, everyone was saying that Dead Space has actually been moved. It's no longer going to release in late 2023. It's actually going to release in January of 2023. So the remake title, we don't have to take any concern whatsoever about that. It's not important whatsoever. We know it's Dead Space. It's getting moved to January 2023. Now, there's two other titles. One is partner title and the other is major IP. So let's talk about the partner title for a sec before we go into major IP. Partner title pretty much means a property that's not necessarily owned by you. So, for instance, the Star Wars IP that EA have the rights to make games to, that's classed as a partner title. And EA in the past have recently confirmed that they're actually doing 3 Star Wars games with Respawn. The first is going to be the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, which I do believe is actually rumoured to be titled Jedi Survivor. So, yeah. And the other one is going to be an FPS game by the guys at Respawn who recently developed the Medal of Honor Above and Beyond VR game, so that. And the other is going to be a strategy-based game, also developed, I do believe, by Respawn. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that's the case. Now, this leads us into the major IP. Now, hear me out. A lot of people will say, well, it's going to be obviously Battlefield, because Battlefield on average releases every 2 years. If we look at the release schedule, Battlefield 3 released way back in 2011. Then 2 years later was Battlefield 4. 2 years later, Battlefield Hardline. And then a little bit of an interesting thing happened. In 2015, like I say, we got Battlefield Hardline, but then what ended up happening is a year later in 2016, we actually got Battlefield 1. Now, that was actually a strange dynamic because it was a year gap, realistically on a calendar year. It's Battlefield Hardline, then Battlefield 1, but usually, like I say, EA take 2 years. Now, the reason this happened was because the team that made Battlefield Hardline was actually Visceral Games, a completely different company. The DICE support studio that was involved with that game was actually DICE LA, who pretty much just made finishing add-ons effectively. So the main Stockholm team was currently developing Battlefield 1 at this time. So take that with a pinch of salt. That doesn't really, matter that much. So it doesn't. The base game pretty much was Battlefield 1. So it was because a lot of people class Hardline as a spin-off. And so, like I say, 2016 we had Battlefield 1, and then 2018 we had Battlefield 5. Then 3 years later, in 2021, we actually got Battlefield 2042. Now, I don't want to talk too much about Battlefield as a show because, it's not the topic of the video, so it isn't really. But I do feel I need to discuss Battlefield here for a second to get into the main point. Like I said, a lot of people will assume this is Battlefield based on recent years and so forth and how EA go about releasing the Battlefield franchise. But that being said, here's what I actually think the plan is going to be. So also, rumours started speculating a couple of days ago that EA isn't actually going to release a Battlefield game in 2023. What they're actually going to do is they're going to take the quote-unquote words a long wait, pretty much a long haul, I think the precise words were, but I don't really want to dive too much into the article. Links will be in the description if you want to check these out. And what this basically said is that they're not expecting to release a Battlefield game until at least 2024, so they're not. So pretty much 2042 in reverse, we'll say. But the reason for this is because EA don't feel that they really hit the mark with 2042. They feel like the game was heavily rushed, and ultimately the game just wasn't in a state to be released. Now, the game currently, in its current setup, we'll say, with the patch note, the update it got, I personally think it's a much better game than it actually was at launch. This is the game I think that we should have got at launch, but we didn't get this game, and really we can't, harp on things that should have happened. The point is, the game came out the way it did, and it's actually starting to make a bit of a resurgence, in sense of, how it feels and so forth. But like I say, EA isn't planning to make a Battlefield game in 2023. So that's not what the major IP is. Now, there's two options for the major IP. The first being, I'll talk about this so well, the first being Titanfall. I'm going to debunk this for a number of reasons, okay? Here's why I said that, debunk. It sounded really dirty, didn't it? Anyway, you guys know what I'm going with. I don't think this is going to be Titanfall for a number of reasons. One is because the team that develops Titanfall is going to have their hands full with their Star Wars games. They just don't have the time for it. And you could maybe make the argument, well, couldn't the team that made, the VR Medal of Honor game, couldn't they make Titanfall? They could effectively make Titanfall, so they could, but I don't think they will, because right now I'm based to believe that they're actually developing their Star Wars strategy game and their Star Wars FPS game, which will not come out at the same time as Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2. It just doesn't make sense to release two of the exact same titles within the same period of time. Just doesn't make sense. Now, if we're arguing Titanfall, you could say, well, they have other studios. Yes, they do, but I don't think EA really wants to upset the fan base of Titanfall, because Titanfall has a very strong, loyal following, so it does. Now, whenever you talk about Titanfall, a lot of people look at Respawn as the prime example of a great studio. A studio that takes their time on games, and a studio that releases the games the way they should be made. And I honestly think if EA announced that, let's say, BioWare, for instance, were developing the next Titanfall game, I think they'd face a massive backlash because a lot of the community of Titanfall wouldn't feel the same confidence, we'll say, with someone like BioWare actually making the game. So I don't think it's going to be Titanfall. And the other reason is that Titanfall sort of is still going, in a sense. If you consider Apex Legends part of the Titanfall universe, it still sort of is there. And Vince Zampella himself even said that, they don't have any plans for Titanfall 3 as of yet. They will do it at some point, but they're not actually doing that game anywhere close to time whatsoever. I just don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Maybe in a couple of years, but I just don't think EA has plans to do Titanfall 3 now. Especially because Apex Legends is doing so well on the revenue stream. It makes no sense really to compete with yourself in that market, so it doesn't. So, again, I don't think they're going to do a Titanfall 3. I could be totally wrong. Don't take my words here as, a true source, or don't take it like, oh, well, he said this, so it's happening. I could be wrong. I've been wrong in the past, and I'm sure I'll be wrong in the future. I just don't see it being Titanfall. So, sorry to disappoint anyone if you did hope for Titanfall 3. I don't think it is going to be Titanfall. Just saying. So this leads us into the last option that I personally think it could be. And I honestly think that it's going to be Medal of Honor. Now hear me out on the reasons as to why I think it's going to be Medal of Honor, because there's a number of reasons. The first reason is that in June 2021, Vince Zampella actually confirmed that WWII was changing their name to Ripple Effect Studios and would start work on their own game. Now within a couple of weeks and months, articles came out suggesting that this game is going to be a military themed game running on a Frostbite engine. Well, what do we know about this? Well, first of all, we know that there's not going to be a Battlefield game in 2023. We also know that Ripple Effect, before they became WWII, they were actually known as Danger Close Games, who developed the Medal of Honor games. So there's a little bit of history for you. Vince Zampella's on the team. Vince Zampella, who has developed, let's look at it, Medal of Honor 1, Medal of Honor Allied Assault. He also developed, I do believe he was there for the DLC for Allied Assault, I'm not 100% sure on that. Then he went off and did, Call of Duty 2, Modern Warfare 1, Modern Warfare 2, and of course he did Medal of Honor Above and Beyond with Respawn. So realistically, he has core ties to the FPS franchise as a whole, and especially Medal of Honor. And Ripple Effect and their DNA have developed Medal of Honor games in the past. True, some aren't the best, and other ones, are great. But at the end of the day, two core elements are in line there. One is, of course, Vince Zampella, who has the DNA of Medal of Honor in his biography, or whatever you want to call it, I don't know, booklet. And the other one is Ripple Effect, who of course have Medal of Honor in their DNA, because they were once, like I say, Danger Close Games, who were once EA Los Angeles, who were once DreamWorks Interactive, who developed all the Medal of Honor games. So it makes sense to say this could be a Medal of Honor game. And reason two, and this is sort of a maybe not situation, so again, take this with a pinch of salt. Everything I've said here, you have to take with a pinch of salt. This is just speculation. Reason two is this. EA probably know that Battlefield is really clinging on. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I don't say like, oh, Battlefield's dead or Battlefield's dying. I really like Battlefield when it's run well. I think it's a great game. Battlefield 4 especially is probably my favourite in the franchise. So, yeah. But Battlefield, in a sense, EA know that they have to get right. And EA realistically will probably be looking and going, okay, we need to get the global mass here. We need to bring people into EA. We need to get people to play the EA game. Now, what do we know about 2023? Well, we know for a fact Call of Duty isn't going to be releasing a game in 2023. They're actually skipping a year for the first time since like 2005. They're skipping a year, so they are. So there's no real competition from EA or any, well, EA would be competing with themselves, so apologies. There's no real competition from anyone like Activision or so forth releasing a big budget game to take away audience from your own game. And EA know this. EA know that there's a clean sweep at the market at this point because, like I say, people will be fed up playing Modern Warfare 2 probably at this point and will be clamouring for a new Call of Duty game. Battlefield isn't going to be releasing a game until 2024. I know it makes no sense saying EA and Battlefield because EA own Battlefield, but just hear me out. So it makes sense to try your luck again maybe with Medal of Honor because, like I say, Medal of Honor, it still is a big IP. Regardless of what you may think of it, if you like it or if you dislike it, at the end of the day, Medal of Honor, if you strap that title to stuff, it will sell. A lot of people make out that Above and Beyond didn't sell that well. Listen, Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, whenever it was released in December of 2020, it was actually listed as Steam as one of the best-selling games. So, and that was a VR title, that was exclusive to VR, and not a lot of people have VR. So, again, it is a good chance to bring it back. And I also do believe if you released a Medal of Honor game on all platforms, it would sell a lot better. It really would sell a lot better. And there was no competition in its way from Call of Duty. Like I say, it's an open market for Medal of Honor to make a clean home run and build a fan base again. Now, I have no doubt there will be a lot of you guys saying, well, Respawn made the last Medal of Honor game, so is the title not really theirs? It's not their IP to work with. Here's the situation. EA own the IP. EA can say to anyone to make a new Medal of Honor game. The same way EA made Visceral make a Hardline or Battlefield game way back in 2015. And Medal of Honor is no stranger to going around on different platforms. For instance, Medal of Honor Heroes, I do believe the very first one, was actually a PSP exclusive. Heroes 2 was for the Wii and the PSP. Then you had Vanguard, which was exclusive to the PS2, sorry. Then, of course, you had Medal of Honor Underground, the Game Boy Advanced version, and Infiltrator, I do believe, again exclusive. So realistically, it makes a lot of sense, and of course, we had Above and Beyond that, you know, it was VR exclusive. So Medal of Honor has dabbled with exclusivity on different platforms for its history, so it's no real surprise that EA would be open to actually, you know, allowing someone like Oculus to make a Medal of Honor game, knowing full well that they have plans to go forward with another game in the future. Again, it's all speculation, but I personally think it's Medal of Honor. And let's be fair, I mean, say what you will about Medal of Honor as an IP, you know, you may question whether you even see it as a major IP anymore, but at the end of the day, if you just go on Twitter and type in Medal of Honor game and search thing, you'll see the amount of people who are hammering for a new Medal of Honor game. I mean, lots of people do want a new Medal of Honor game, and I really think if you dabble in the right sort of direction with Medal of Honor, you can actually do a really good game. So you can. Medal of Honor Warfighter was one of those games that was just rushed. It just wasn't ready to be released, but EA threw it out in a crowded market, and it didn't stand a chance for a number of reasons. One, like I say, the crowded market. We had games like Halo 4 coming out, Black Ops 2, Assassin's Creed 3, Battlefield 3 was still releasing DLC, it was still going strong. You know, Modern Warfare 3 and Battlefield 3 were still actually selling, so they were. So the market was just ridiculous. Also, we had Need for Speed, Forza. It was just a ridiculous time to release a game, and it just made no sense. And also, the game wasn't finished, so what chance did it have? Medal of Honor 2010 is a great example of a game that just, you know, was a hidden gem that just didn't get the limelight it deserved, I think, because Medal of Honor 2010, a lot of people did say they really did enjoy it. They thought the nice sort of combination of Call of Duty and Battlefield, the mix that sort of was actually a really good idea and actually worked really well. However, with Medal of Honor 2010, what happened was Battlefield Bad Company 2 came out in 2010, March, and Black Ops 1 came out in November of 2010. So really there wasn't a big player base on Medal of Honor 2010 because a lot of people were divided between, you know, Medal of Honor, Battlefield, and of course Black Ops 1, which, if we look at the latter, Medal of Honor was probably the least populated of the three games. Plus you had little titles like Homefront and so forth that were sort of making a decent name for themselves. So it really didn't, you know, help the masses sort of come to Medal of Honor because a lot of people saw it as, well, it's developed by the same team that made Bad Company. What would be the point of buying Bad Company 2 smaller edition, we'll call it at this point, because it really was a smaller based edition. And then you had the Call of Duty fans who were like, I'm waiting for Black Ops 1, why would I buy this? It made no sense, so it didn't, from a consumer, you know, perspective, to release that game in that market as well. But that game did really well. That game did actually do very well, so it did. But I think if EA's looking at the past mistakes they made, they'll look at Medal of Honor in 2010 and think, well, if there was no competition from Call of Duty or our own IP Battlefield, it probably would have done a lot better. We could have supported it a bit more. And so they'll probably look at 2023 in that window and think, great opportunity to release this game and build an audience, and then if the game does well sales wise critically, you can make a franchise resurrected effectively. That's a bit cringy, but you get what I'm saying. And also, it'll be around this time that Ripple Effects game will have been in development for roughly 2 years, maybe 2.5 if you really add it up. So it's plenty of time, so it is, to release that game. That game should be finished at this point. They've had a lot of time to do it. And like I said, have the core DNA of Medal of Honor in their history, so to do. Vince Zampella has big ties to the franchise. So, you know what? I think it's Medal of Honor, I really do. If I was a betting man, which I am, ironically, I would actually put my money on Medal of Honor at this point. Again, it's all raw speculation. Maybe you guys have a different IP that you think, well, what if it's that? You know, it could be something completely different, you could be wrong. And again, I have to just stress this, I could be wrong. In fact, I more than likely will be wrong. Okay, this is all speculation. I've been wrong in the past, I've been wrong in the present, we'll say, and I'm sure I'll be wrong in the future. But overall, I just think it's fun to speculate and stuff like this. And it's also a bit of, you know, fun because it builds up, you know, the hype train. If this is actually a Medal of Honor game that they're making, a lot of us can get on board with this, so we can't be like, it's finally happening, they're finally bringing it back. And if it's a home run, everyone's happy. We'll have Battlefield, Medal of Honor, and Call of Duty, which are all in this market of great games to choose from. I always class those as the big three. Those are the big three FPS games. Sure, you have other games, you know, like Halo, but that's an Xbox exclusive, so it is. Killzone, exclusive, etc. You know, games that are exclusives I don't class as like big because they're only catered to one market. That's not saying that they are not big games. It's just I always class the big three FPS games as being Medal of Honor, Call of Duty, and Battlefield because they're the big ones that everyone can play, and a lot of people do play them over the years. So yeah, that's just been my own opinions, my own thoughts. If you guys have liked this, if you agree or if you disagree, comment it below. And yeah, hopefully at its Medal of Honor we actually get a new game in the next couple of years, maybe in the next year and a half. So yeah, thanks for checking out the video, guys. Peace.